But sugar can't taste itself. Sugar can't taste itself. It has to become a tongue, and then it can relish the taste of itself. So Lord Chaitanya can't relish what Srimati Radharani is relishing. She's his Ladini Shakti, his internal potency, and she's experiencing the highest, she's his personification of pleasure, Ladini Shakti. And Krishna wants to taste that pleasure and that experience. We'll read three different aspects. He wants to taste that himself. And so he advents as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Krishna is darkish complexion, Sham. Lord Chaitanya is a golden complexion because he's borrowing, Krishna's borrowing the color of Radharani, Gauri, and becomes Gaura. And he's also borrowing her moves to experience the moves that she relishes. And then we'll read how he comes not to only experience these three things, but he also comes to distribute it to the most unqualified persons, such as myself. In the age of Kali, even the demigods are praying to take birth in this age of Kali. How is that possible? Why do the demigods want to take birth in Kali Yuga? A dark age, a degraded age. Clear Doshe Nidhe Rajan, Astameka Mahatmanam, Kirtana Eva Krishna Samukta Sangha Samatri, Brahmja Prajet. There's one good quality in this degraded age of Kali, and that's the fact that by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's given us entrance into Sri Harinam, Raj Ras. And later we'll say how he's, read how he's come to experience the love of Srimati Radharani and distribute through the propagation of Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names, congregation, to experience Raganuga Bhakti, So this is the reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent that we'll read more about. Thus the subject, the Lord, wanted to relish the loving mellow in the position of the object, Radharani. The second reason for his appearance was to understand the transcendental mellow of himself. Lord Krishna is all sweetness. Radharani's attraction for Krishna is sublime, and to experience that attraction and understand the transcendental sweetness of himself, he accepted the mentality and the moves of Radharani. The third reason that Lord Chaitanya appeared was to enjoy the bliss tasted by Radharani. The Lord thought that undoubtedly Radharani enjoyed his company, and he enjoyed the company of Radharani. But the exchange of transcendental mellow between the spiritual couple was more pleasing to Srimati Radharani than to Sri Krishna himself. Radharani felt more transcendental pleasure in the company of Krishna than he could understand without taking her position. But for Sri Krishna to enjoy in the position of Srimati Radharani was impossible. Because that position the English was so beautiful to me. I thought they were touching the songs about the devotion. Because they do everything. But for Sri Krishna to enjoy the position of Srimati Radharani was impossible because that position was completely foreign to him. Krishna is the transcendental male and Radharani is the transcendental female. Therefore, to know the transcendental pleasure of loving Krishna, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Lord Chaitanya, accepting the emotions and bodily lust of Srimati Radharani. Lord Chaitanya appeared in order to fulfill these confidential desires and also to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To fulfill these constant desires and also to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna mantra and to answer the call of the great Guru. These were secondary reasons. So we'll read this completely, so I don't have to read it. Many people will think, because there is other reasons that Mahaprabhu was identified besides these internal reasons. And one of them is being explained here. When Chari called out, offering a palm full of Ganges water and tulsi to his Shardram, called out and cried out louder for Krishna's advent to save the degraded souls that were coming prolifically in Kali Yuga. So that's one aspect. Also, Jagai and Madai, they took birth in Sati Yuga as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. In Treta Yuga as Ravan and Kumbhakarna. In Dwapara Yuga as Shishpala and Dantavaka. They satisfied by these three births that were cursed by the four Kumaras to come in the material world. But they raised their hands and Krishna said, what? And he said, we want to volunteer to come again so we can experience Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Earlier I said that the demons are praying to take birth in Kali Yuga because this is no ordinary Kali Yuga. This is Danya Kali. It's a special Kali where Krishna himself comes as Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. And he comes with the color and the mood of Srimati Radharani to give freely what no other incarnation is given. This mood of Mara, spontaneous attraction to the Lord. We're so fortunate. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami was the principal figure amongst Lord Chaitanya's confidential devotees. The records of his diary have revealed these confidential purposes of the Lord. These revelations have been confirmed by the statements of Sri Rupa Goswami and his various prayers and poems. This chapter also specifically describes the difference between lust and love. The transactions of Krishna and Radha are completely different from material lust. Therefore, the author has very clearly distinguished between them. They are so transcendental that simply by hearing and discussing these transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna and intimate devotees related to Krishna, it purifies this tendency for lust which we're so contaminated and enslaved. So now we read text 1. Sri Chaitanya Prasadena Tatvapasya Dineri Nanyam Balo Pikurute Shastram Rishpragaja Vitasana. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can relish fully the real nature of the Lord Sri Krishna, the enjoyer of pastimes of Raja, according to the vision of the revealed scriptures. Text 2. You might want to, it's a little hard on the phone, you might want to get time to think of Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Shri Advaita Acharya, and all all words, all the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chatur Shlokira Artakaya Ashtaran Panchama Shlokira Arta Srila Bhaktidan. I described the meaning of the fourth verse. Now, devotees, kindly hear the explanations of the fifth verse. So in the first 3 chapters, he goes over the meanings of the first 4 verses, 3 verses. Now he's beginning the fourth verse. Just to explain the original verse, I shall suggest its meaning. I have given the essential meaning of the fourth verse. This carnation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descends to propagate the chanting of the holy name and spread love of God. Although this is true, this is but an external reason for the Lord's incarnation. So many devotees suggest that why don't you turn to Advent? They say to preach the chanting of Hare Krishna. That's completely true, but it's also an external reason. There's millions of Kali Yugas in one day of Brahman. And each Kali Yuga has a Yuga avatar. But in this Danya Kali, it's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, not different from Radha and Krishna as we've explained. In other Kali Yugas, it's going right. It's a Vishnu manifestation of Krishna. And he teaches that propagates the Yuga Dharma of chanting the holy name. But in other Kali Yugas, chanting the holy name will only give one Vaikuntha prema. In this Danya Kali, chanting the holy name can actually bring one into Braj Bhakti and enter into Goloka Vrindavan, especially where we, Anarthi Jodhana, 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 to achieve this Guru Rasa of Srimati Radharani and great service. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to do. The scriptures proclaim that Lord Krishna previously descended to take away the burden of the earth. We know that other reasons Krishna comes in Bhagavad Gita is one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and disappearance will not take birth in this world. And then it explains, Puchanari Salina, Vinishai Vishnu, Ramasan Stopanataya, Sambhavana Yuge Yuge. So he comes to give pleasure to the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. But this is also, it isn't done by Krishna himself, it's done by the Vishnu manifestation of Him. But the time to lift the burden of the world mixed with the time for the Lord's incarnation. When the complete Supreme Personality descends, all the incarnations of the Lord meet together with Him. Therefore, Krishna's song is not, in Hindu culture, in Hindu, generally many Hindus, they think that Krishna's a manifestation of Narayana or Vishnu or Shiva. But actually, those manifestations of Vishnu and Narayana, they're within Krishna. He's not an avatar. Although Chaitanya is not an avatar either, although sometimes he's referred to as Kali Yuga avatar. He's avatari. All the manifestations of Narayana and Vishnu are within him. All the avatars are within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Lord Narayan, the 4 primary expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, Matsya, and the other Lila incarnations, the Yuga avatars, and the Mantratar incarnations, and as many other incarnations as there are, all descend in the body of Lord Krishna. In this way, the complete Supreme Godhead, Lord Krishna himself, appears. At that time, therefore, Lord Vishnu is present in the body of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna kills the demons through him. Thus, the killing of the demons is but secondary work. I shall now speak of the main reason for the Lord's incarnation. Premaras Niryash Bharatash Vidan Radhamar Vivakmurti Bharati Pracharan Rasika Sekera Krishna Parma Purana Edu Hetu Haitu Vicharan Vikana. Very important verse. Premaras Niryash, to experience love of himself, love for himself. Premaras, to experience that love and Korti Prashan, Radha Marga Bhakti Yogi, to give this love through the process of beyond Vaidhi Bhakti, practicing the rules and regulations out of a sense of duty and a sense of fear of the opposite result. He comes to give the spontaneous manifestation of the highest practice of devotion. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. The Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the bellows of love of God, and He wanted to propagate devotion service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus He is known as the supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all. Lord Krishna thought, all the universe is filled with the conception of my majesty, but love weakened by that sense of majesty does not satisfy me. If one regards me as the Supreme Lord and himself as subordinate, I do not become subservient to his love, nor can it control me. So that's Aishwarya Prem, a sense of majesty, awe and reverence. So Lord Chaitanya wants to come to give this spontaneous attraction. And whatever transcendental mellow my devotee worships me, I reciprocate with him. That is my natural behavior. I mean, it's quoting from Bhagavad Gita, Yayamam Tam Prabhajante, Yayatamam Prabhajante, Tamsa. In whatever way my devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects of Samkrita. If one cherishes pure loving devotion to me, thinking me as his son, his friend, or his beloved, regarding himself as great and considering me his equal or inferior, I become subordinate to him. Devotional service rendered by me, devotional service rendered to me by the living entities revives their eternal life. My dear Raja, your affection for me is your good fortune. But it is the only means by which you obtain my favor. Krishna is speaking this verse to the gopis who came for the solar eclipse from Gaura. Then he says, Mother Yashoda sometimes finds me as her son. She nourishes and protects me, thinking me utterly helpless. My friends climb on my shoulders in pure friendship, saying, what kind of big man are you? You and I are equal. If my beloved consort reproaches me in a sulky mood, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend in various and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes for which I am even made. The influence of Yogamaya will inspire the gopis with the sentiment that I am their parliament. Neither the gopis nor I shall notice this, for our minds will always be entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. Pure attachment will unite us, even at the expense of moral and religious duties, dharma. Destiny will sometimes bring us together and sometimes separate us. Then he says, I shall taste the essence of all these rasas, and in this way I shall favor all the devotees. I don't think that's the whole section. So it's also been briefly explained in a very wonderful way that Krishna performing his transcendental leelas in Dwapara Yuga, just before Kali, the advent of Kali, is Dwapara Yuga, and Krishna performed so many pastimes that we hear about and relish in the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. So after he experienced those leelas, those wonderful explanations, and wonderful manifestations of his transcendental relationships with the eternal residents of Raja, a complete supercharged ecstasy of relationships with his intimate associates and Raj, then he going back to the upper Dham, Krishna is thinking, I want to come again. Now there will be Kali Yuga coming. And I want to advent myself again. Besides these reasons we're reading about now. He wanted to come again and teach by himself how to enter into these transcendental pastimes that he is exhibiting. Krishna wanted to teach by his own personal example. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord himself, but he's in the mode of a devotee of Krishna. Giving his example by his personal activities, how the devotee can practice transcendental sadhana bhakti, raganuga bhakti. And then he gave the essence of that to Rupa Goswami and Rupa Nuga Bhakti. He came, who's the better teacher, who's the better professor, who's the better giver of that supreme relationship of love, than if that Supreme Lord himself manifests as a teacher, to give it by his own personal example. Such a wonderful visible manifestation. So we're in Vrindavan Dham is considered Puri is Prem Purushottam, and Leela Purushottam is Krishna is here in Vrindavan. And this is also Madhurya Prem. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has invented in Kali, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana, to give Adarya Prem. So here, there's Madhurya Prem manifested in Vrindavan, and Lord Chaitanya in Gupta Vrindavan, the covered manifestation of Vrindavan in Radha Green. He's given Adarya Prem. That praying which is come with so much magnanimity, so much mercy. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinu Bandhu Jidachide. So Krishna is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the fallen, poor, Dinu Bandhu. He's the Supreme Lord, Jidachide. And he's the Karuna Sindhu, he's the ocean of mercy. But in Kali Yuga, Krishna is covered by the cloud and the color of Srimati Radharani. She's Karuna Mayi. She's the personification of that mercy. mercy, Karuna. Krishna is the ocean of mercy, Karuna is single, Radharani is the personification of mercy, and they combine together. There's no other manifestation of Krishna more merciful. And then in other chapters we'll read how merciful Lord Nityananda is. He comes in as the servant of Lord Chaitanya. In Dwarka Yuga there's the sons of Devaki. There were 6 who were killed by Kamsa. And then the 7th one was transferred to the womb of Rohini. That's Baladev. So this is very Islamic and instructive. First comes Baladev. First comes Nityananda. Because in Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, he was the younger brother. And he was always had to take the advice of his older brother to do so many things they didn't want to do. And that's a long story itself. So he wanted to be the older brother. So before we can understand Krishna, we have to take shelter of Baladev. Before we can understand Lord Chaitanya, we take shelter of Nityananda. Akhanda Guru Tattva, Nityananda Prakash, he manifests before us personally as our spiritual master. So mercifully, Nityananda is manifest before us as our spiritual master. We're so fortunate. So, was that the whole chapter? It got stuck there. Oh. Then by hearing about the pure love of the residents of Braja, devotees will worship me on the path of spontaneous love, abandoning all rituals of religiosity and further activity. It's not going, that's set real hard. And then the verse, Anubhaya Bhaktivinoda Mishinde Mashrita Vachite Tatvashina Krina Yashruta Bharo Bhavet. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard of such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Just as these desires are the fundamental reason for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity, so for Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the Dharma of the age is incidental. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of praying with the congregational chanting of the holy name. Thus he spread kirtan even amongst the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema, with which he garlanded the entire world. The words are really starting to change places. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself. 4 kinds of devotees are receptacles of the 4 kinds of mellows in love of God. What are the 4 different mellows? No sun. In God's definition, it's kind of mixed. It's covered with olive oil. The book is smooth. It's hard to change. Each kind devotee feels that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus in that world he tastes great happiness. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. Increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one above the other, but that love which has the highest taste in gradual succession of desire manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. Therefore I call it Madhurya Ras. It has two further divisions, namely wedded and unwedded love. There is a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal mood. Such love is found nowhere but in Braj. This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Braj, but among them it finds its perfection in Shri Radharani. Her pure, mature love surpasses that of all others. Her love is the cause of Lord Krishna's tasting the sweetness of the conjugal relationship. Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Sri Hari himself, accepted the sentiments of Radha and thus fulfilled his own desires. The Lord is the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads, and the be-all and end-all of great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be the object of my vision? Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarine mellows of love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha. And so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent golden color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. To accept ecstatic love is the main reason he appeared, and to establish the religious system for this age. I shall now explain that reason. Everyone, please listen. Having first given hints about the verse describing the principal reason why the Lord appeared, now I shall explain its full meaning. Radha Krishna Pranay Vikitirani Shakti Rasma Vikatana Apidur Purnima Kadanta Chaitanya Kyam Pakatam Adela Tattvahi Chaitam Attam Radha Bhavajiti Subhalitam Nama Krishna Swarupam. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they have separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Gaura Hari. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Ek Dehadari Ayonyay Vilasarasa Astadana Puri. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Now to enjoy Ras, they have appeared in one body as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can you make it easier to change pages? Srimati Radhika is the transformation of Krishna's love. She is his internal energy called Ladini. Wait a second, it's just it's groups. Where did you get this thing? I gave this iPad 6 years. And Lord Chaitanya is telling me, you should give Krishna Purnima a new iPad. No, he does wonderful. Lord Krishna's body is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Satchit Ananda. His one spiritual energy manifests three forms. Ladini is his aspect of bliss, Sandini, of eternal existence, and Samvit of cognizance, which is also accepted as knowledge. O Lord, you are the support of everything. The three attributes, Ladini, Sandini, and Samvit, exist in you as one spiritual energy. But the material modes, which cause happiness, misery, and the mixtures of two, do not exist in you, for you have no material qualities. So, Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini. Who is the Ishtadev of this Sandini potency? Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini. So who is the Ishtadev Adidevata of Sandini Shakti, or the existence potency? No one else? Okay. Let others raise their hands. Who's the Adidevata of Samvit potency? Samvit potency. Sandini is Baladev. We just spoke about Ladini. So who's the Lord of personification of the Samvit potency? The knowledge. As a fluid manifestation, so he's right. And if you hear the flute properly, then you'll completely be absorbed in Samvit potency of Krishna's. So the Samvit is the personification of Krishna, transcendental knowledge. And who is Ladini Shakti, Krishna's pleasure potency personified? Who is the Ishtadev or the Adidev of Ladini Shakti? Who is the personification of Ladini Shakti? Okay. Extra plate of Maharaj for Chandra. O Lord, you are the support of everything. The three attributes, Ladini, Sandini, and Samvit, exist in you as one spiritual energy. But the material modes, which cause happiness, misery, and mixtures of the two, do not exist in you, for you have no material qualities. The essential portion of the Sandini potency is Shuddha Sattva. Lord Krishna's existence rests upon it. So that's like the foundation. Sandini is like the foundation. Krishna's mother, father, abode, house, bedding, seats, prana thread, slippers, etc. They're all transformations of Shuddha Sattva. Vishesha. think there's a way to adjust. Okay. Any questions so far? Besides, why is this? Any other questions about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his internal reasons for his advent? There's external reasons, and I mentioned one of them, Advaitacharya calling out. There's also an external reason of Kali Yuga Avatar, Sri Chaitanya. Also, to propagate the holy name, Yuga Dharma. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Yuga Avatar and to propagate Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. Bhagwan, what is Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga? Well, what is the main Dharma of Kali Yuga? Yes, what's the best means of Kali Yuga to achieve bhakti? Chanting what? Chanting what? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. The essence of the Samvit potency is knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna. The essence of Samvit potency is knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna. All other kinds of knowledge, such as knowledge of the mind, are its components. The essence of Adini potency is love of God. The essence of love of God is emotion, bhava, and the ultimate development of emotion is Mahabhava. Will it go easy for you? Huh? Sri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of Mahabhava. She is the repository of all good qualities and the first jewel amongst all loving consorts of Lord Krishna. Of these two gopis, Radharani and Chandravali, Srimati Radharani is superior in all respects. She is the embodiment of Mahabhava and she surpasses all in good qualities. So Radharani, she's manifestation of Krishna's pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti. So to expand Krishna's pleasure, she expands herself in so many forms. Millions of gopis, they're all expansions, Tayagyu Rupa of Srimati Radharani. Majaris. Rupa Majari, she's the personification of the form of Radharani. Rati Majari is the personification of the bhava of Radharani. So many personification forms, all emanations of Radharani, Tayagyu Rupa. And all the queens of Durga, ultimately manifestations of Tayagyu Rupa of Srimati Radharani in different aspects. And the Lakshmis of Narayan and Vishnu plants, they're all extensions of Srimati Radharani. And in Kailash, extension of Lord Shiva, Parvati, nothing, Sakti. And the extensions of Mahamaya herself is ultimately the Kailash Rupa of Srimati Radharani. Durga Devi, she's ultimately a expansion of Srimati Radharani. Durga Maya. Durga Maya has two different aspects. Vrinda Devi and Purnima. Or Naragri, Purnima is known as Purnima. 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 There's a nice pastime in another Greek curriculum when Parvati, she's with her Pati, Shiva, and she sees Shiva's in so much ecstasy, and he's chanting Gaura, 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 and he's experiencing so many different ecstatic symptoms. And Parvati's thinking, the whole world is worshipping my Lord Shiva, Mahadev, but he's chanting someone else's name and giving so much ecstasy. So she inquired from Mahadev, what name are you chanting? Who is this Gauranga? And he says, oh my great Parvati, you should understand, these are confidential matters, but just listen. Actually, you are a manifestation of Srimati Radharani herself, and she is experiencing the highest bliss of the supreme Ladini Shakti of the Lord himself, his pleasure potency. Her love is the paramount. Here is referred to as Mahabhava, and even beyond that, Bhagavati Mahabhava. And to experience that love of Radharani, Krishna will take birth in this age of Kali. This pastime took place in Navadvip at Samantardeep. You can go to that place, there's a Jagannath temple now. And Parvati is known in that Samantardeep as Samanti Devi. So he said, when Lord Shiva told Parvati, he said, Lord Chaitanya is advancing in Kali Yuga to spread this supreme bliss of service to the love of Radha and Krishna himself, and the manifestation of Gaura Mahaprabhu. And she said, is it possible for me to experience this like you are? And so Lord Shiva gave her the mantra, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And she began practicing that Gauranga mantra. Crying out for Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally appeared before her. And she saw the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya. And she was overwhelmed. Oh my, this is so beautiful, so sweet. And she bowed down before him and touched his feet. And she cried out, oh my Lord, Sri Chaitanya, you have come to give the highest manifestation of praying in Kali Yuga to the most fallen. But I have this duty in Kali Yuga. I have this duty that I am the personification of the Lord's external mercy. So I have to captivate all the souls to stay in this material world forever. So how will I ever get the opportunity to experience what you have come to give? So Mahaprabhu smiled and said, oh my dear Parvati, I bless you. This Navadvip Dham is so powerful. It would give you the manifestation behind this thing. And this age, the manifestation of chanting is holy names, Maha Mantra, and the names of Gauranga are so powerful. You will be completely purified of all those external manifestations of deluding, deficient souls. So she was very happy. So, will you try to find our first Saturday? Her mind, senses, and body, now explaining Srimati Radharani continues. Radharani's mind, senses, and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy, and she helps him in his pastimes. And then as a verse from the Brahma Samhita, Ananda Chinmaya Sa Pratipavita Vistabhya Yevam Junupakara Kalima Kalaki Kaloka Evam Sakya Yatmakunto Kalinga Manipushan Kamanurajani. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who resides in his own realm, the Loka, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure, and who embodies the ecstatic potency Ladini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form, and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual lives. Text 73. Now please listen how Lord Krishna's consort, Radharani, helps him taste ras, and how they help in his pastimes. The beloved consorts of Lord Krishna are of three kinds. We just mentioned them. The goddess of fortunes, and Vaikuntha, the queens, and Durga, and the milkmaids of Raj, the gopis, and Vrindavan, who are the foremost of all. These consorts all proceed from Radha. Just as the fountainhead, Lord Krishna, is the cause of all incarnations, so Shri Radha is the cause of these consorts. Now let's explain what I just explained. Without many consorts, there is not such exaltation in Ras. Therefore, there are many manifestations of Srimati Radharani to assist in the Lord's pastimes. Among them are various groups of consorts in Braja who have varieties of sentiments and mellows. The gopis, they help Lord Krishna taste all the sweetness of the last dance and other pastimes. Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda, and she is also the enchantress of Govinda. She is the be-all and end-all of Govinda and the best jewel of all his consorts. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. She is the central figure for all those goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primary internal potency of the Lord. Going on Vrindavan, there's three primary manifestations of the Lord: Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Radha Govinda, and Radha Gopinath. So Madan Mohan, everyone in this world is captivated by Mohan, illusory energy. And Krishna is the attractor of that illusory energy. Madan Mohan, attractor of us. And Srimati Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. She is the attractor of the attractor of his material desires. Devi means resplendent and beautiful, most beautiful, or it means the lovely abode of the worship and love sports of Lord Krishna. Krishna Mayini means one who is within and without our Lord Krishna. She sees Lord Krishna wherever she casts her glance. Or Krishna Mayini means she is identical with Lord Krishna, where she embodies the loves of love. And the energy of Lord Krishna is identical with him. Her worship consists of fulfilling the desires of Lord Krishna. Therefore, the Puranas call her Radhika. But then it goes on to explain Srimati Radharani in different ways. But the main thing that is being pointed out are the internal reasons of Lord Chaitanya's advent. Thus, Radha and Lord Krishna are one, yet they have taken two forms to enjoy the mellows of pastimes. To promulgate bhakti, prema bhakti, devotion, service, and love of Godhead, Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Prabhu with the mood and complexion of Sri Radharani. Thus I explain the meaning of the fifth verse. To explain the sixth verse, I shall first give a hint of its meaning. The Lord came to propagate Sankirtan, that is an external purpose, as I have already indicated. There is a principal cause for Lord Krishna's appearance. It grows from his own engagements as the foremost enjoyer of loving exchanges. That most confidential cause is threefold, so Damodara has revealed. The heart of Lord Chaitanya is the image of Radhika's emotions. Thus, feelings of pleasure and pain arise constantly therein. The epitome of those feelings of Radharani were experienced by Sri Chaitanya Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Puri in Gambhira. In the final portion of this passage, Lord Chaitanya was obsessed with the madness of separation from Lord Krishna. He acted in erroneous ways and talked deliriously. At night he talked incoherently, in grief, with his arms around Swarup Damodara's neck. He spoke out his heart in ecstatic inspiration. Whenever a particular sentiment arose in his heart, Swarup Damodara satisfied him by singing songs or recitations of the verses in the same nature. To analyze these pastimes is not necessary now, but later I shall describe them in detail. In youth he tasted the essence of Rams, performing his desires in pastimes like the rasa games for Srimati Radharani and other people. In his youth, Lord Krishna made all three of his ages and the entire universe successful by his pastimes of amorous love like the rasa games. Lord Madhusudana enjoyed his youth with pastimes on autumn nights in the midst of pure-like milk nights. Thus he dispelled all misfortunes of the world. Lord Krishna made Srimati Radharani close her eyes in shame before her friends by his words relating their amorous pastimes on the previous night. Then he showed the highest limit of cleverness in drawing pictures of dolphins and the various playful sports on her body. In this way, Lord Hari made his youth successful by performing pastimes in the bushes with Srimati Radharani and her friends. O Purnima, if Lord Hari had not descended in Mathura with Srimati Radharani, this entire creation, and especially Cupid, the demigod of love, would have been useless. I shall explain his first desire. Krishna says, I am the primary cause of all rasas. I am a full spirit of truth and made of full joy, but the love of Srimati Radharani drives me mad. I do not know the strength of Radha's love, with which she always overwhelms me. The love of Radhika is my teacher, Guru, and I am her dancing pupil. Her prema makes me dance in various novel dances. Radha's love is all-pervading, giving no room for expansion, and still is expanding constantly. There is nothing greater than her love, but her love is devoid of pride. That is the sign of his greatness. So in this way, Krishna's Kavaras is extolling and explaining so many wonderful things of the love of Srimati Radharani. And he's explaining that is Krishna wants to experience that love of Srimati Radharani and the sweetness, and then she relishes through that love and happiness that she experiences. The gopis said, O Krishna, when you go to the forest during the day and we do not see your sweet face, which is surrounded by beautiful curling hair, half a second becomes as long as an entire age for us, and we consider the greater, which put eyelids on our eyes. We use to see you, we simply fool. So Krishna Maharaj goes on to explain the different explanations and details about Srimati Radharani's love. And the gopis' love, which is completely unparalleled. And ultimately, because he wants to explain how Krishna himself wants to experience that love. How Srimati Radharani and all the Brajvasis, they manifests as Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. O Arjuna, there are no greater receptacles of deep love for thee than the gopis, who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine. The natural love of the gopis is devoid of any trace of lust. It is faultless, bright, and pure, like molten gold. Lord Chaitanya appeared with the sentiment of Sri Radha. He preached the Dharma of the saints and sang the holy name in pure love of God. In the mood of Srimati Radharani, he also fulfilled his own desires. This is the principal reason for his appearance. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Shri Krishna, Rajendra Nanda Kumar, the body of rasas. He is the amorous love personified. He made his appearance to taste that conjugal mellow and incidentally to broadcast all the lessons. Lord Shri Krishna is devoted of ras. He himself tasted the sweetness of ras in endless ways. Thus he initiated the Dharma for the age of Kali. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya know all these truths. Advaitacharya, Lord Nityananda, Srivas Pandit, Gadadhar Pandit, Sri Sarup Damodar, Murari Gupta, Haridas Thakur, and all of the devotees of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, bowing down with devotion. I hold the lotus feet on my head. So he's explained a hint of the 6th verse, and now he's going to explain the original verse. Desiring to understand the glory of Srimati Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him, that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness that she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sajjan as the moon appeared from the ocean. All these conclusions are unfit to disclose in public, but if they are not disclosed, no one will understand them. Therefore I shall mention them, revealing only their essence, so that loving devotees will understand them, but fools will not. Anyone who has captured Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu in their hearts will become blissful by hearing all these transcendental conclusions. All these conclusions are like newly grown twigs of a mango tree. They are always pleasing to devotees who in this way resemble kookaburras. The candlelight non-devotees cannot enter into these topics. Therefore, there is special jubilation in their heart. Therefore, offering obeisances to devotees for their satisfaction, I will speak without hesitating. Once Lord Krishna considered within his heart, everyone says that I am complete, bliss, full of all nonsense. All the world derives pleasure from me. Is there anyone who can give me pleasure? One who has 100 times more qualities than me would give pleasure to my mind. Although my beauty defeats the beauty of 10 million humans, although it is unequal and unsurpassed, and although it gives pleasure to the three worlds, Srimati Radharani gives pleasure to my eyes. The vibration of my transcendental flute attracts the three worlds, but my ears are enchanted by the sweet words of Srimati Radharani. Although my body lends fragrance to the entire creation, the scent of Radharani's limbs captivates my mind and heart. Although the entire creation is full of different tastes because of me, I am charmed by the nectarine taste of the lips of Srimati Radharani. And although my touch is cooler than 10 million wounds, I am refreshed by the touch of Srimati Radhika. Thus, although I am the source of happiness for the entire world, the beauty and attributes of Srimati Radharani are my life and soul. In this way, my affectionate feelings for Srimati Radharani may be understood, but on analysis I find them contradictory. My eyes are fully satisfied when I look upon Srimati Radharani, but by looking upon me, she becomes even more advanced in satisfaction. The flute murmur of the bamboos rubbing against one another steals Radharani's consciousness, for she thinks it to be the sound of my flute, and she embraces it from all tree, mistaking it for me. I have gotten the embrace now of Shri Krishna, she thinks, so now my life is fulfilled. Thus she remains immersed in pleasing Krishna, taking the tree in her arms. When she takes the bottle of vapor left chewed by me, she emerges into an ocean of joy and forgets everything else. Even with hundreds of miles, I could not express the transcendental pleasure she derives from my association. So Krishna continued glorifying in so many ways his attachment to Srimati Radharani and her exalted position. First, Lord Krishna made his parents and elders appear. Then Krishna himself, with the semblance and complexion of Radhika, appeared in Navadvip like the full moon in the womb of B.V.Sajjan, which is like an ocean of pure milk. Meditating on the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, I best explain the 6 pillars. I can support the explanation of these two verses 5 and 6 in the first chapter with the verse by Rupa Goswami. Quote, Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarine mellows of the love possessed by one of his multitude of loving damsels, Shirada. And so he assumed the form of Sri Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her false golden color. With that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. So that ends the transcendental chapter of the explanation of the internal reasons for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. 527 something. Just like yesterday. We are so fortunate we can partake and get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the manifestation of our Guru Padma. So, this age of Kali, the highest thing is given so wonderfully to the most unqualified and unfortunate persons. a very easy process. Jai Sajjan, Jai Gaura, Jai Jai Gaura, Nadia Vihara, So, Jai Sajjan, thank you very much.